We've had our hard frost, so everything's very dead right now on the farm. And there are just a few things that I still need to do. There's a lot I could do, but just today I think I'm hoping to harvest my dandelion root, my ashwagandha, and then also dig up my dahlia tubers to store over the winter. Yes, I grow dandelions on purpose, and that's because dandelion root is one of my favorite herbs. But when word gets out that you're growing dandelion, you get a few questions. Like, why would you grow it in the garden when dandelion grows as a weed everywhere? Well, it's just not the same, okay? So we have heavy clay soil here, and that makes it hard to even get a small part of the root out of the ground. So growing dandelion in a garden with looser soil is key if you want to harvest dandelion root. Also, lawns where dandelion grow, they're often sprayed with herbicides or fertilizers, and you don't want to consume those plants. All of the dandelion plant is edible, but I mostly focus on the roots. The root is fairly bitter and earthy, but the bitterness is what makes it a classic liver tonic and great for stimulating digestion. Ashwagandha is another incredible herbal root. It grows naturally in India, the Middle East, and parts of Africa, so it's pretty wild that I can grow it here. If you're in a warm climate, you can grow ashwagandha as a perennial, and then you can get a nice big root harvest after a few years, but I'm still very happy with the smaller roots that I'm able to get in one growing season. I grew dahlia flowers for the first time this year, so I have a flower farmer friend who gave me a few of her extra dahlia tubers to plant, and now those tubers have multiplied, so I'm digging them up to store and plant next year. I decided to harvest everything first and then go back and clean them all up. So here's the dandelion again. Dandelion naturally has a single taproot, like how a carrot has one root, but when you start them indoors and then transplant them out into the garden, they then have a cluster of roots like mine here. I'd like to be more intentional about saving seeds, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. Thankfully, I'm still able to collect the ashwagandha seeds that are inside their red berries on the dead stems. I'm not that confident about cleaning and storing these dahlia tubers properly, because they need to be stored at a certain temperature and moisture, and I'm not sure I can make that happen. But if they don't make it, I'm going to be sad. Over the next few days, my goal is to get as much herbal stuff done as I can, because there's some things that I've been meaning to do for a really long time, but I've just procrastinated on it. So let's see how much I can get done. This bit of stevia has been drying in my office for weeks, so I'm giving it a quick garble to separate the leaves from the stem. Stevia leaf is a natural zero sugar sweetener. It does have a weird aftertaste if you use too much, and it's very easy to use too much. I like adding a small pinch to my herbal teas. I am back with the ashwagandha. Growing roots, harvesting, and processing them is such a commitment, but it's worth it, I think. Ashwagandha root is very hard, so I was able to put the dandelion root in my food processor to break them up into small pieces, but that's not possible with ashwagandha. The roots are much too tough. So I'm being very inefficient by using clippers to cut each root one by one. Even the clippers can't cut it easily, and I'm struggling a bit. There's an herb farm that uses a wood chipper to chip their ashwagandha, and I wish I had one of those right now. This is going to dry in the dehydrator for the rest of the day and overnight. Each one of these ashwagandha berries contains many seeds. I don't need too many seeds for next year, so I really only need the seeds from a few berries. My ashwagandha root dried overnight, and now is the time I should make a tincture with them. But I am out of the alcohol I need for the extraction, so I'll have to add that to my grocery list. Perhaps before I start a new tincture, I should finish the ones that have been done extracting for a while now. That sounds like a good idea. This first one is valerian root. Dry valerian root degrades quickly, so making a tincture with fresh valerian from the garden is a great way to preserve it. Valerian is a strong nervine. It's calming. People often use it to help them sleep. I love valerian, and I'm happy to have this tincture. Here's some lemon balm tincture. Lemon balm is a less intense nervine. Now I'm straining my calendula tincture. Straining your tinctures through a cheesecloth, like I'm doing here, is a smart idea, because then you can squeeze the liquid out of the herb to get as much tincture as possible. I only have 2 of these cloths, so I couldn't squeeze all of them, but I'm pretty excited about this spilanthes tincture. All of these go into a closet that is housing the small home apothecary that I'm slowly building. I also just dried my dandelion root, and now I'm going to roast them in the oven. So I love the taste of roasted dandelion root tea. It's in the same category as coffee, so it has the bold bitterness that coffee has, but it's a different flavor. I like making this dandelion mocha recipe. So you first decoct the roasted dandelion root and some cacao nibs. I also added a pinch of cinnamon chips. That's a nice touch. Then I add some cream and honey to make a sort of herbal latte. It's fantastic. It has a very unique flavor, so I'm going to enjoy this while I relax for a bit. One of the last things that we need to do on the farm is planting garlic for next year. So Dan saved the biggest garlic bulbs to use as seed, and now we're breaking them apart into cloves. The bigger garlic cloves give the garlic plants a better start in the spring. I think he said we're planting about 1,200 cloves, and so they'll grow into 1,200 garlic plants. I'm seeing so many people suffering. It's too common to hear that my peers have anxiety, panic attacks, or depression, and we've just sucked meaning out of the world. We've built our cities out of plastic. We sell false solutions and false hope. People live in non-physical spaces, either in their heads or online. So no wonder we're ungrounded and anxious. What do we as moderns have that we can firmly grasp to steady ourselves? What foundation can we build upon with full faith that it will remain standing? We need to reclaim ourselves, our work, our communities. I want us to start building lives that actually make sense. I make sense of the world by rooting myself in the physical world, like in this farm. Like, I could just be planting garlic right now. And that's great. But at the same time, I participate in the mystery of God's creation. I put myself in relationship with the land, and I plant seeds for future growth. I know where I came from, I know where I stand, and I put faith into where I will be.